Hi everyone, thanks for joining us today. Today we're going to be walking through how to set up and use the Haefely FP-COMB32 three-phase coupling decoupling network, which is designed for use with the Haefely AXOS series of generators. During today's video, we will be using the Haefely AXOS 8 to show how the connections are made to the coupling decoupling network. Let's go ahead and start with taking a little closer look at the FP-COMB32. Here you're going to find the front side of the Haefely coupler. Let's go ahead and start from the left side of the equipment and work our way right. The first thing you will notice on the left side is two different LEDs. You'll notice a power LED and an active LED. Working our way right, you will see a section with three different connections. We have the high input, COM input, and just to the right of that, the SHV connection for burst. All three of these connections will be used for communication from our AXOS system to our CDN when testing for the associated waveforms. Just to the right of that, on the CDN, you will notice we have our power outputs to the EUT, as well as our connections for our ground reference plane. And you will see those on our top and bottom, just above and below the 5 different lines connections there. Now let's go ahead and let's take a look at the back side of our FP-COMB32. Okay, so we just turned the three-phase coupler around. Let's go ahead and let's start with the middle of the unit. There you will see the equipment under test, supply inputs. This coupler is similar in its design as with other couplers in the market, where you have your inputs in back and your outputs on the front. Just to the right of that, a little ways down, you will see our reference earth connection. Next to that, the mains power switch, and then finally our link and sync connections. We will be using both the link and sync connections later in the video when we go over the different required cabling from our AXOS system to our FP-COMB32. That should just about wrap up the front and back side of the FP-COMB32. Now let's walk through some of the connections that you're going to need to make to get the system operational. Okay, here you're going to find the back side of our AXOS 8 as well as the FP-COMB32 on the bottom. Now there's 3 connections that have to be made on the back side of this unit to get the system operational. The first is going to be the earth connection, which you will see just to the left of the off-on switch for both the Haefely AXOS 8, the top unit, and then the FP-COMB32, the bottom unit. The next 2 connections are going to be the link and sync connections. The link connection, that's going to be the gray one. That's going to be towards the top of the AXOS unit, which will then go to the FP-COMB32. And that sync connection, that's going to be on the bottom of the top AXOS unit, and then it's going to be going to our coupling decoupling network. That should just about complete the 3 connections you need to make on the back side of the test system. Let's go ahead and turn it around and walk through some of the connections that are going to need to be made on the front side. Here's the front side of our Haefely test system. Let's go ahead and walk through quickly how to make the necessary connections for both surge and EFT. The first will be the high and COM connections required for surge and ring wave testing. You can see those, they're black and red, going from our test generator to our FP-COMB32. The next will be the burst SHV connector, and you can see that cable is black, and that's going from our test system again to our FP-COMB32. That should just about wrap it up for the required connections. Now let's go ahead and start up the system and take a look at the display. Okay, here's the starting display for our AXOS test system. Now let's go ahead and let's show everyone how to select the FP-COMB32. So let's go ahead and let's click on surge. Okay, here's kind of the generic surge menu. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of the coupling information. Alright, perfect. Here's our output and coupling path menu. And you see on the left side we have our output, and we're to go ahead and go down to FP-COMB32. And we're going to be sure that's selected. And then you will see we have a couple different options. We have single phase, 2-phase, 3-phase, different coupling configurations with the lines. And then you will notice in the upper right hand corner we have an IEC and an ANSI coupling path selection menu. So right now we are in the IEC. Let's go ahead and take a look at the ANSI. All right, perfect. And you see right there, there is a few other options available for you if you are doing the ANSI coupling configurations. All right, that should just about wrap it up for today. We've walked through a little bit about the FP-COMB32, the different connections on the front and back, getting it operational with an AXOS test system, and then finally, how to select the FP-COMB32 and adjust different coupling configurations through the display. We appreciate everyone's time, and please reach out to us if you ever need of any rental Haefely test systems.